The arrival of the Zenith Dominion. The universe had always been a cruel, indifferent place. Stars burned, civilizations rose and fell, and war was often the only language spoken between the mighty and the weak. Humanity had learned this the hard way. Across centuries, Earth had been battered by its own conflicts, had nearly destroyed itself more times than anyone cared to count, yet it had endured. But nothing had prepared them for the arrival of the Zenith Dominion. The colossal alien vessel appeared out of nowhere, a dark behemoth that blotted out the stars. It was a warship unlike anything humanity had ever seen, a monolithic fortress of blackened alloy, pulsating with eerie blue energy veins that crackled like contained lightning. It moved silently, effortlessly cutting through the void of space, as if it owned the cosmos itself. It was not here to negotiate. It was here to claim. Within moments, every satellite, communication network, and digital screen on Earth flickered and displayed a single, unyielding message. People of Earth, you are now under the authority of the Zenith Dominion. Surrender and become part of our grand empire, or resist and be eradicated. You have 30 Earth hours to comply. The voice was cold, mechanical, translated perfectly into every human language as if the invaders had studied Earth for a long time. It was neither arrogant nor aggressive. It was simply factual, like an executioner announcing the inevitable. The world stood still. From the neon-lit skyscrapers of New Tokyo to the deep space mining colonies on Europa, from military bunkers buried beneath the Rocky Mountains to the floating refugee cities above the flooded remnants of the old world, humanity froze in collective shock. Governments scrambled. Armies were mobilized. Scientists pored over the readings of the Zenith vessel, their faces pale as they realized what they were up against. Earth was outmatched in every conceivable way. A warning from the void. Deep beneath the Nevada desert, inside the heavily fortified headquarters of United Terran Command, UTC, Admiral Elias Carter leaned over a high-resolution display of the alien warship. His hands, worn with age and battle, clenched into fists. He had seen many things in his lifetime. Wars, revolutions, interstellar conflicts, but nothing like this. Standing beside him, Dr. Evelyn Voss, Earth's foremost expert on exoplanetary physics, studied the vessel's energy signature with quiet horror. Their technology is terrifying. That ship isn't just armored. It's layered in something we don't even have a classification for. If they fire their main weapon. Carter exhaled sharply. He knew what she was going to say. Earth's defenses, even with all their advancements, might not survive a direct attack. Behind them, General Marcus Wren, head of planetary defense, slammed his palm onto the holotable. "We need to strike first," he growled. "We can't wait for them to decide our fate. We have to hit them before they hit us." But Carter shook his head. He had fought enough wars to know when brute force wouldn't win the day. "No," he said, his voice calm but firm. "They want us to act out of fear. They want to see how we respond, how weak we really are. We won't give them that satisfaction." Dr. Voss adjusted the screen, displaying intercepted signals from the Zenith Dominion. They're running deep scans on Earth. They're not just preparing to attack. They're evaluating us, seeing if we're even worth keeping alive. Carter smirked. "Then we'll make sure they regret asking the question." He turned to his officers, his steely blue eyes scanning the faces of the men and women who had sworn to defend humanity. "They think we're primitives. That's their first mistake. They think we'll roll over like every other species they've crushed. That's their second mistake. And the third." He gestured toward the vast underground command center, where classified projects and hidden technologies had been prepared for decades. "They have no idea what we're truly capable of. A history of defiance. Humanity had never been the strongest, nor the smartest, nor the fastest. But they had one thing that set them apart from the countless civilizations that had come and gone across the stars. They refused to die. For centuries, humans had fought against impossible odds. Empires had risen, fallen, and risen again. The species had endured wars, plagues, famine, disasters, and even its own self-destruction. Every time, it had come back stronger. Every time, it had adapted, learned, and grown. The Zenith Dominion thought they were dealing with a fledgling race that had only just stepped beyond its home system. But they had no idea about the secret colonies hidden beneath Europa's ice. They had no idea about the experimental fleets cloaked in dark space beyond Pluto. They had no idea about the AI warships waiting in deep-sea bunkers on Earth, silent predators that had been designed for an enemy just like this. They didn't know about Project Revenant. Carter glanced at the encrypted file on his datavat. The last resort. The failsafe. The weapon that had never been used, not because it wasn't ready, but because it was too dangerous. If the Zenith Dominion forced their hand, it would be unleashed. And the universe would never be the same. Earth's answer. The Zenith Dominion warship, still hovering ominously above Earth's moon, received a response 27 hours after their ultimatum. A single message. No threats, no begging, no negotiations. It came directly from the United Terran Command. It was short, precise. This is Admiral Elias Carter of the United Terran Command. Your demand has been received. Here is our response. Leave. Now. If you do not, we will show you why Earth still stands. This is not a threat. It is a warning. Your move. For several minutes, there was silence. Then, from the heart of the alien warship, energy signatures surged. The Zenith Dominion had made their choice. A deep, pulsating hum filled the void as their primary weapon systems came online. Carter turned to his command team, his voice steady. Prepare for war. The battle for Earth had begun. Humanity's true strength awakens. The moment the Zenith Dominion's primary weapons activated, the entire solar system held its breath. Across Earth, billions watched the live feeds in terror as the alien warship, a behemoth of black metal and glowing blue veins, prepared to unleash devastation. The skies over Luna flickered with unnatural energy, building toward a single, undeniable truth. This was the moment humanity would either be conquered or make history. But deep in the heart of Earth's hidden command centers, Admiral Elias Carter was not afraid. He had been waiting for this. The first strike. The Zenith Dominion had expected fear. They had expected panic. They had expected the humans to beg, to plead, to try and negotiate their way out of annihilation. What they did not expect was a counterattack before they even fired their first shot. The moment their energy cores surged to full power, Earth's hidden defenses came alive. Thousands of satellites, which had long been dismissed as simple communication relays, shed their disguises and revealed their true purpose. Orbital railguns, kinetic strike platforms, and AI-controlled missile arrays. The first volley struck before the Zenith even had a chance to react. Boom, boom, boom. A series of hypervelocity rounds. Tungsten rods moving at speeds that made them more devastating than nuclear warheads ripped through the outer shielding of the Zenith warship. Its defenses, designed for intergalactic warfare, were powerful, but they were not impenetrable. Not against the sheer audacity of human warfare. The ship trembled under the assault, its shields flickering as it tried to compensate. Across its hull, deep scars formed where human weapons had struck true. The Zenith Dominion had never encountered anything like this before. Their typical invasions followed the same pattern: appear, demand surrender, annihilate resistance. But this was different. Humanity was not running. Humanity was not hiding. Humanity was fighting back. The War Council's gambit. Inside the United Terran Command bunker, Carter stood firm as data streamed across the war table. The initial strike had crippled at least 2 of the Zenith ship's major weapon arrays, but he knew that wasn't enough. This was just the opening move. He turned to Dr. Evelyn Voss, who was monitoring the energy readings. What's their response? She frowned. Their shields are adapting, but we hit them hard. Their core is destabilizing, temporarily. We need to press our advantage now. Carter nodded. Then we bring in the Ghost Fleet. The room fell silent. Even General Marcus Wren, a man who had seen entire colonies burn in war, hesitated for a moment. You're serious? Carter's voice was cold steel. They wanted a demonstration of power. We'll give them one. The Ghost Fleet rises. Near the dark side of the moon, where no sunlight touched, something stirred. For decades, the existence of Project Revenant had been a myth, a whispered rumor among intelligence agencies. A secret fleet of ships that did not exist, stealth vessels equipped with technology centuries ahead of what humanity had ever publicly revealed. Now, as the order was given, those ghosts awoke. One by one, their cloaks disengage, revealing a fleet of black angular warships, each crafted with an eerie silence. They did not hum with engines. They did not flicker with thrusters. They moved with a whisper, their quantum drives bending light itself to remain unseen. At the helm of the lead vessel, Captain Aria Vale received the command directly from Carter. She was a legend among the UTC, known for her impossible victories and ruthless precision. Orders confirmed, she said coolly. Engaging target. The Ghost Fleet moved in unison. They were invisible to the naked eye, undetectable by most forms of scanning, and most importantly, they were now within strike range. Zenith's miscalculation. On board the Zenith Dominion warship, Supreme Warlord Kvar stared at his damaged vessel in shock. The humans had attacked first. And worse, they had landed their blows. This is unacceptable, one of his officers hissed, their multiple eyes glowing with frustration. Their weaponry should not be capable of piercing our armor. They have spent centuries preparing. Kvar murmured, realization dawning. We were missiled by their broadcasts, their primitive signals. They have hidden their true strength. A warning siren blared across the bridge. New energy signatures detected. Hundreds of them. And they were inside the Zenith's defensive perimeter. Kvar barely had time to process what was happening before the Ghost Fleet struck. Earth's retaliation. The attack was surgical, precise. Whereas the orbital strikes had been brute force, this was a dissection. The Ghost Fleet's weapons did not fire glowing projectiles or explosive rounds. Their weapons were silent. Electromagnetic pulse cannons, quantum destabilizers, gravitic disruptors. The Zenith Dominion warship shuddered as invisible forces tore through its systems. Its engines flickered, its weapons short-circuited. Entire portions of the ship collapsed in on themselves, their gravitational fields twisted into oblivion. For the first time in its history, the Zenith Dominion warship was losing. Carter watched from command. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't celebrating. This was only the beginning. Final warning. On the bridge of the crippled Zenith warship, Supreme Warlord Kvar could barely keep his footing. The ship was failing, systems crashing faster than they could repair. He had never faced an enemy like this. He opened a channel to Earth. You have made an error, he growled, his voice strained. You do not understand what you have done. If you defy the Dominion, we will. Carter cut him off. His voice, calm and lethal, echoed across the transmission. No, Kvar, you made the mistake. You assumed we were weak. You thought we were just another species to conquer. He leaned closer to the screen, his blue eyes piercing through the void. Now you're learning the truth. We don't submit. We don't break. And we never, ever lose. Kvar snarled, but before he could respond, Carter issued his final command. Fire everything. The war begins. The Ghost Fleet delivered their final blow. A titanic explosion erupted from within the Zenith warship as their energy cores overloaded. The once invincible behemoth fractured, blue lightning crackling across its body as it detonated in a silent supernova. As the wreckage drifted through space, Carter watched without emotion. One battle was won, but he knew the Zenith Dominion would not take this defeat lightly. This was only the beginning, and humanity was ready. The Zenith retaliation. The shattered remains of the Zenith Dominion's warship drifted lifelessly above Earth's moon, a testament to humanity's unexpected defiance. Across the globe, celebrations erupted. People filled the streets, cheered in underground bunkers, and wept in relief. For the first time in history, Earth had faced an overwhelming alien threat, and won. But Admiral Elias Carter knew better than to celebrate. As he watched the wreckage from United Terran Command's central war room, his jaw tightened. This victory wasn't an end. It was the beginning of something far worse. The Zenith Dominion had ruled the stars for thousands of years. They had crushed countless civilizations beneath their iron grip. A single warship may have been destroyed, but that didn't mean the Zenith were defeated. They were watching, studying, preparing, and now they were coming. A warning from the stars. Inside United Terran Command, UTC, deep beneath the Nevada desert, Dr. Evelyn Voss analyzed the incoming transmissions from deep space. The readouts made her blood run cold. "Admiral," she whispered, eyes wide. "We just intercepted a signal from Zenith space." Carter turned to her, his expression unreadable. "Let's hear it." The transmission played, a deep, guttural voice filling the room. "You have slain one of our own. For this, there will be no surrender, no mercy, no negotiations. Earth will burn." The room fell silent. General Marcus Wren exhaled sharply. "Damn it," he muttered. "I knew this was coming." Carter clenched his fists. It was worse than they thought. The Zenith weren't just sending another ship. They were preparing for full-scale planetary extermination. Dr. Voss pulled up a holographic display showing an array of massive energy signatures moving toward the solar system. "We're detecting at least 12 warships inbound," she said. "And these aren't scouting vessels like the one we just destroyed. These are capital-class dreadnoughts." "ETA?" Carter asked. 3 weeks. UTC's War Council erupted in urgent discussions, but Carter already knew what had to be done. Earth didn't have 3 weeks to prepare. They had 3 weeks to win. The decision: stand or die. Carter looked around the war room. His officers, his scientists, his soldiers, they were brilliant, courageous, but they were human. Unlike the Zenith Dominion, humanity had no vast empire, no centuries-old fleets of warships. They had one planet, one chance, and that meant every possible resource had to be mobilized. "Send the evacuation order for non-essential personnel," Carter commanded. "Move civilians to deep space shelters. Anyone who can fight, fights." General Wren grinned darkly. "Mobilizing every warship we have." Carter shook his head. "Not just that. We're activating Project Revenant in full." Gasps filled the room. Project Revenant, the classified research division of Earth's military, was a desperate contingency, a collection of top-secret weapons, experimental fleets, and AI warfare protocols. It was never meant to be used. Now, it was Earth's only hope. Carter turned to Dr. Voss. "Can we take the fight to them before they reach us?" She hesitated, then pulled up a star map. "There's a choke point near Jupiter, a gravity well where their ships will have to slow down for course corrections. If we launch a preemptive strike there, we could cripple their fleet before it reaches Earth." Carter's eyes gleamed. "Then that's where we make our stand." The Ghost Fleet's last mission. On the dark side of Mars, hidden beneath the ice of the Elysium Rift, the Ghost Fleet was preparing for war. Captain Aria Vale stood on the command deck of the U.S. Revenant, the most advanced warship in human history. It was invisible to all known forms of detection, coated in a quantum-reflective hull, armed with weapons that defied conventional physics. She listened to Carter's orders, a small smirk playing on her lips. "A preemptive strike against a Zenith fleet," she mused. "Ballsy. I like it." Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Dane Mitchell, frowned. "The odds are still bad. Even with stealth, we'll be outnumbered and outgunned." Vale's smirk widened. "So, since when has that ever stopped us?" She turned to her crew. Set course for Jupiter. We're going hunting. The Battle of the Jupiter Rift. 14 days later, the Ghost Fleet lay in wait near Jupiter's gravity well. Their warships were cloaked in absolute darkness, their energy signatures suppressed, their weapons primed. And then the Zenith arrived. 12 colossal dreadnoughts, each the size of a small moon, emerged from hyperspace, their dark hulls gleaming under the distant sunlight. Their escort fleet numbered over 100 smaller warships, the biggest armada Earth had ever faced. Vale exhaled slowly. Showtime. The trap was sprung. The Ghost Fleet emerged from hiding like predators pouncing on prey. Quantum torpedoes, silent and deadly, streaked toward the Zenith fleet before they could react. The first explosion ripped through a dreadnought's command deck, tearing a gaping hole in its hull. Another was struck by an EMP pulse, rendering its weapons useless. The Zenith reeled in confusion. They had expected a terrified, desperate Earth force waiting on the defensive. They hadn't expected a surprise attack from invisible warships. Their fleet scrambled to regroup, but by then, the damage had already been done. The Ghost Fleet had crippled 3 dreadnoughts before the Zenith even had a chance to fire back. The battle turned chaotic. Zenith fighters swarmed like locusts, engaging human strike teams in dogfights across the void. The Ghost Fleet, outnumbered but not outmatched, weaved between enemy formations, cutting through their ranks with ruthless precision. But even with all their skill, they couldn't hold forever. The final sacrifice. As the battle raged, Vale received a grim update. "We're getting overwhelmed," Mitchell reported. "We need a way to take out more of their fleet, or we're done." Vale's jaw tightened. "Then we use the Leviathan Protocol." Mitchell's eyes widened. "That's suicide." Vale's voice was cold steel. "It's war." She opened a secure channel to Carter. "Admiral," she said, "we have a chance to wipe out the entire Zenith fleet, but we'll need to detonate the quantum core of the U.S. Revenant inside their formation." Carter's stomach dropped. "That'll kill you." Vale smiled. "Yeah, but it'll save Earth." A pause. Then Carter nodded. "Do it." Vale looked at her crew one last time. "You've all been the best damn soldiers I've ever fought with," she said. "See you on the other side." And with that, she plunged the U.S. Revenant into the heart of the Zenith fleet. The ship's quantum core overloaded, its energy surging into an unstable reaction. And then, a blinding explosion, a shockwave that rippled through space itself. And when the light faded, half the Zenith fleet was gone. The price of victory. Back on Earth, Carter received the final transmission. The Zenith fleet was crippled. The survivors were retreating. But Captain Area Vale was gone. Carter closed his eyes. A hero's death. A soldier's sacrifice. The war wasn't over. But today, humanity had won again. And the Zenith Dominion had finally learned. Humanity does not bow. Humanity does not break. Humanity fights. And no empire in the universe could change that.